I think we will start our last day of FTP. I welcome Dr. Shereef R.M, College of Professor, Department of Electronics, College of Engineering, Trivandrum, and he will be handling writing research articles and dissertations today. Dr. Shereef sir to take the slides. Thank you.
So myself, Shereef, I'm working as Professor of Electrical Engineering here at College of Engineering, Trivandrum. So let's start now. And our topic is this one, how to write for technical periodicals and conferences. We can extend this to dissertations. So we'll discuss about this. What do you actually expect from this session? What are your expectations? And please don't open notebooks, nothing. Just listen me, that's enough. Nothing to learn. So what are the things we'll discuss now will be known to you. Only thing is the perspective how you see or how to organize it. That is the only difference. Rest, these are nothing will be new in this session. But before that, what do you actually expect? So that we'll discuss, we'll move in that direction. Otherwise, I'll give a lecture and you won't be able to. Published papers in journals. Others got rejections. Start now. Our time is up to 11, right? So our outline will be like this. Why to publish and what is the literature including the manuscript. Develop this manuscript. Ethics in scientific publishing. This is the outline of the course. And the first question is why to publish. Why? We don't expect correct answers from you. We need an answer. Need not be correct. Want to publish? Yes, publish one paper.
Basically for two reasons. One is for academic reasons and another one is like whatever I have learned, I have to apply somewhere. So paper writing is somewhere we can apply, that's the second reason.
You have to learn. That should be transferred to the society. Otherwise, how do we progress? point. Second is should help advanced technology for public good. That is how we have developed. From the first man, how do we develop? How did we develop? What are things he has learned? He has transferred, he has given to his next generation. And now we have a platform. We have a number of platforms to publish. And we research. How do we start our research? Literature review. So we need to know what others have done. For that again publication is required. What they have done, and from there only we will start. We won't start from the very basic square one. We will not do that. That is the second point. And third point is, what is next? What should be next? You all need recognition. And for getting recognition and for career advancement, we have to publish. And it is made mandatory. Actually, it should not be mandatory for career advancement. I'm blocking this line. Therefore, we can. Okay. Blocking. For research review. Why do we do that? Innovative should be there, something new. Otherwise, no standard. Know what has happened. So any research problem must contribute new and important development or knowledge in your. How do we start? Where to start? Which area? How do you decide where? How all are from management background, right? All from management background. Mixed management plus? Social science, fine. Anyway, it is science. Everything is science. So you can ask me questions in between, you can stop me. So any question you can ask. So we'll discuss in that. So what are the questions to be asked when we start this research or research, either in social science, engineering, medicine, wherever it is? When we take a problem, when we start doing research, the first question should be, just for an academic purpose, or will it serve some social purpose? It will be useful to the society or no? That is the first question we should ask. Then that area of the art, what has been done in the we have identified. What is the purpose of doing research? Should be beneficial to society. Not just to get a degree, it should be beneficial to the society. So will it advance our research? See, we are spending a lot of time, our life we are spending. It should have some effect. That area which we are selecting is of relevance. It will help to advance the present state of technology or whatever it is. Then what are the sources we select for literature review? We will select only peer-reviewed sources. Why? Because that might have gone through many stages of reviews. So peers like us, many hundreds of people or thousands of people will be doing research in the same area. So our proposals, our hypothesis, we are presenting before them. They'll cross-check it, and what all questions they have, their perspective will be different from ours. So all these questions will be raised, and we are supposed to answer. So this kind of defense will happen, and then only it will get published. So once it is published in a standard journal, need not be correct always, because all our reputed journals, they do fraud. It is there. If you look at papers, definitely. If I am the editor, if I get a paper and the author is my friend, do you think that I'll reject that paper? No. I'll find some way to publish it. If it is from my own organization, I'll try to publish. So these kind of frauds are there. Even then, the reliable sources are these peer-reviewed journals. Then this is the next question. What are the points you would like to include in your manuscript? How do you decide? Suppose you are reading a paper. After the first reading, how do you rate a paper? Based on what? See, after this session, how do you rate my session? Based on what content? What you have gained? What is in your mind after this session? If you don't get anything, then you won't remember. There was a session, that's all. So like this, when you read a cinema, Malayalam, I think you are familiar with Malayalam. Allah Ta'ala undu kudu. Cinema കാണുന്നവരാണല്ലോ എല്ലാവരും. മനസ്സിൽ തങ്ങി നിൽക്കുന്ന സിനിമകൾ ഏതൊക്കെയാണ് എന്ന് പറയാമോ? ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു സിനിമ കാണുന്നു. കിലുക്കം. എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ്? എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ്? You know the answer. നിങ്ങൾ പറയുന്ന ആൻസർ അറിയാം. ഗോഡ് ഫാദർ, നിങ്ങളുടെ ആൻസർ ഉണ്ട് ഇല്ലേ? എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് അങ്ങനെ സംഭവിക്കുന്നത്? It is applicable everywhere, in any field. You not be in cinema or your publication, in any field. If you don't get anything from the other side, we won't remember. നമ്മൾ എന്തിനാണ് നമ്മുടെ മെമ്മറി വേസ്റ്റ് ആക്കുന്നത് വേറെ ആൾക്ക് വേണ്ടി? We never do that. Right. First question we have to see. So what are the points which we would like to give to our readers? And based on that only they'll evaluate us. Right. See, whenever students bring some papers, first we will ask who are the authors. I used to do that. Because we know authors. What contributions they will make in their paper, what will be the content. Will it be fake or not? We know that. ഇപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങളോട് ഒരാളൊന്നൊരു കാര്യം പറയും, ഇപ്പം ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളോടൊരു കാര്യം പറയുന്നു. You won't believe. 100% will you believe? എന്തൊരു സ്ഥാനത്തിലാണ് വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നത്? Your experience, your past experience. നമ്മളെല്ലാവരും അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യും, അറിഞ്ഞോ അറിയാതെയോ, knowingly or not, we are doing that. It is applicable to all fields. So in this paper also it is. Then so after reading your paper, they should get some point. And to reach your audience, what are the methods and data? Methods should be proven methods. Otherwise, you have to prove that your method is worth enough. Then data. Data should be reliable data. And data should be accessible to all others. Suppose I am publishing a paper. Data is available to me and that is not shared with anybody else. Then how do others will reproduce the result? It's not possible. So data should be from reliable sources, not from internet. Internet is okay, but sources should be reliable. Then your references. References should be from peer-reviewed journals. Then the most important thing is what conclusions you draw from the. This is the most important, not for your research. Please don't write. I'll give you the slides. It's not an issue. Don't write anything. Just listen. So any research, see, students, they are presenting. They'll make presentations, right? In any field, engineering, social, wherever it is. You are giving a seminar. And what are conclusions they make out of the seminar? That is important. After reading something, what are the conclusions I'm arriving at? They are very, very important. And people are interested in this. What are methods? Finally, what is the outcome of that? That comes in this conclusion. So, we have discussed how to start your gap identification literature review. Then what are the points to be included in the manuscript? Then we have to make an outline. How do we make outline? If any missing point is there, you just raise your hand. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Our time is only 1 hour, so I'm rushing it. So before start writing, we will develop a logical structure. What are the things to be included in a paper? This is how we do that. കഥ വായിക്കാറില്ലേ നമ്മൾ? ഏറ്റവും നല്ല കഥാകാരന്മാരാരാണ് മലയാളത്തിൽ? മലയാളവും ഇംഗ്ലീഷും വായിക്കുന്നതിൽ ഏറ്റവും നല്ല കഥ എങ്ങനെയാണ് കഥാകാരനെ റേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്? ഹൗ ഡു റേറ്റ്? പ്രസന്റേഷൻ. ഹൗ ഡു ദേ പ്രസന്റ് ഇറ്റ്? പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് എപ്പോഴും എന്താ വേണ്ടെന്ന്? വലിയ എഫേർട്ട് ഇല്ലാതെ, വിതൗട്ട് പുട്ടിങ് മച്ച് എഫേർട്ട്, ഇറ്റ് ഷുഡ് ബി എ സ്മൂത്ത് സെയിലിംഗ്, റൈറ്റ്? വി പ്രിഫർ ദാറ്റ്. നമ്മളിപ്പോഴും അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യും. നമ്മൾ റീഡിങ് ഓൾസോ. വിച്ച് ബുക്ക് യു പ്രിഫർ? വിച്ച് ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബുക്ക് യു പ്രിഫർ? Understandable. That is very important. Content is very important. Same time, it should be. There is a difference between our universities and foreign. Do you watch foreign university lectures? These top class professors' lectures? Do you watch? Kanarundo. Kanarundo. Foreign textbooks, do you prefer? Refer? Share. What is the difference? Our lectures. See what I am teaching anatomy. Human anatomy is same everywhere. You go to Africa, Europe, India, wherever, it is the same. And it is the same thing we teach, right? Exactly the same content we teach. When I am teaching Newton's law, Newton's first law, we have studied Newton's first law. But it is the same in my college. If you go to any NIT, National Institutes or IIT, you go to MIT, what do they teach? Same Newton's law, cannot be different. But the output is different. See the quality of output, that is different. And what makes that difference? Do you think? Have you ever thought of that? When input is same, and the material means the students coming in front of us, more or less, they are also same. Then what makes the change or difference in quality of the output? The way they present it, the way they make the other side understand. Paper writing also, same thing. So we should have a logical structure so that it will be easy for them to understand. Otherwise, you won't read. This is important. Order of the topic, the relative importance. From one section to the next section, there should be a continuity. You cannot jump. Right? Abruptly, you cannot stop a section. Once you are stopping it, there should be some door should be open. You cannot close a door all of a sudden. So, door to the next section should be open there. So there will be continuity. And people will prefer to read that and they will understand it. Then we have to follow the standard structure of this scientific article. So once we have done that, then comes the question, where to publish? Whether should we give it to a journal or to a conference? How do we decide that? You have a work to publish, right? You want to publish it. How do you decide which journal or will it be suitable for a journal or a conference? This is the answer. a full work. It's a developed work. So you can present it in a journal. But interim results, you have started working and interim results are there. They can be given to conferences. Why we are giving to conference? One thing is you will get good comments. It will go through a peer review process. So at the very beginning itself, somebody will go through that and will give their comments. So we can, if there is any mistake in that, we can correct it. That is first point. Second is, once I am publishing, I am telling others that I am already working in the area and I have results. If I publish before me, if somebody else publishes that, then it will go to his credit. My work will be lost. So interim results can be published in conferences. So fully developed work will be given to a journal. Then we have review articles. What is review article? What is review? What is a hot area in hot topic in your area? Social science, right? What is the latest topic in that? Hot topic. Fine, okay. So people, new area comes, emerging areas. For example, AI, any area in your related field. People will start working, right? So we can do review of that literature. 2 or 3 years first, after starting that area, some literatures have come. So if I do a literature review on that, and if I publish a paper, the advantage the others is, they'll be knowing what all things are happening. So scattered papers I'll put together, then I'll write and what is the future scope of that. So these kind of things, they are called as review articles. You can publish. Review articles are also preferred, but you won't get any credit for that because what you are doing is you are reviewing just the work of others. You are consolidating it, that's all. So you won't get any credit for that. Then I use IEEE because we used to deal with IEEE. Then letters are there. These articles are, journal articles are there, conferences. Then review articles, then letters. What are letters? I have a result. I have done something, I have a result. But that result, I don't have much to write. Conferences they'll prefer, they'll tell you minimum 6 pages. So depending on journals, depending on the area. In my area, electrical engineering, 8 or 10 pages they'll prefer. In mechanical or some area where they are doing research, experimental research, they permit even 30 pages also. So depending on the area in which you are working, area of the journal, they'll allow you to write number of pages. But I have an interim result, but that is a very strong result. I want to publish it. But I don't have that much stuff to do. I have derived a mathematical response. Those can be given as letters. Yeah? Short communication. Then where to submit? How do you select? Impact factor, then Asha, listed journals, fine. Then fine, okay, you have a list of journals. But how do you find out your area or what you have written is most suitable for a particular journal? How do you find it out? We can search using abstract or keywords. There are journal finders or journal suggesters. For all publishers, they have journal suggesters. So you have to give the keywords either at the title of the paper or abstract. So it will check the match. Have you done that? I'll show you that towards. First, we will go through the aims and scope of the journal. That's the first thing. Because it should match with our research area, aims and scope of the journal. Front page of the journal itself, they'll specify this. So our journal is intended to publish articles in so and so area. The first thing. Then, who is the editor and who are on the editorial board? Why? We'll check the reputation of the persons in the editorial board. Will they do any fraud or fake things? So we want to know. Because every day we are getting a number of mails. I think you also will be getting. Then publish in journal, submit today, tomorrow it will be published. Like that, so many things are coming. So we'll see the reputation of the journal, who are all in the editorial board. Because why this is important? Because they will select the best persons in your area to send your paper for review. So you'll get correct comments. So you can refine your work. Then who are your audience? That is very important. See the political leaders. Best example is our leaders. If you invite our CM to this FDP, what he will speak? അദ്ദേഹം പറയൂ കേന്ദ്ര ഗവൺമെന്റ് പൈസ തരുന്നില്ല എന്ന് പറയൂ? He will not tell. അദ്ദേഹം എന്ത് ചെയ്യും? See the audience, faculty members. But അദ്ദേഹത്തിന്റെ ഏരിയ ടോപ്പിക് എന്തായിരിക്കും? അതിനെ റിലേറ്റ് ചെയ്തായിരിക്കും പറയുന്നത്. It's a public meeting at Kadakuttam, topic will be different. So depending on the audience only they will speak. So in our case also, different journals, their audience are different. Serious journals are there, top class journals are there, their audience are different. So accordingly we have to write. If you are submitting to a high impact factor journal, then the audience expect that level stuff. This is very important. Because many of you will be giving these articles as a part of your PhD work. Some journals are very fast. They'll get reviewers and the reviews also will be fast. Even though they say 3 weeks to 4 weeks or 5 weeks, it will take even years to get a review. This is very important because I have submitted and if the average time is 1 year, after 1 year they are rejecting my paper, then what will happen? I have to rework. By that time somebody else might have published papers in the same area. So what about our work? So this is also an important factor when we select a journal for publication. Processing charges. Some journals will specify maximum page limit is 10 pages. But once you have completed your manuscript, it's 11 pages. So for this additional page you have to pay extra. And that too, they'll tell in dollars. $200. When we convert it into our money, that is a problem. For them it is very less amount, but for us it is a huge amount. So then what we do? We will not submit to that journal. We will find out another journal which will permit even 12 pages. That's what we do. So this is also a factor while selecting a journal. Then impact. How to select a conference? How do you select a conference? Two conferences on the same date. One is organized by a prestigious management institute. The other one by a local institute. Which one you prefer? So you have the answer. You know how to select. We all will do like that only, right? So who is the organizer? Who are the organizers? Who are supporting that? Whether professional body in our area or research area is supporting the conference. Who are their collaborators associating, right? Who all are there in that advisory board? Reviewers. We'll see all these factors. Then only we will submit our paper to a conference because it is a work done by us. We have spent time. See, time is our life. We are having a part of our life. Right? So it should go to a conference which is worth enough. So definitely we will look at these factors. That's why we select a conference. Fine. And how to develop a manuscript? Oh, develop. ഇപ്പോഴാ ശ്രദ്ധിച്ചു. ഇനി രാത്രിയൊക്കെ ഇരുന്ന് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്. How do you develop? So we have a structure. For all scientific articles, there is a structure. What is the structure? There will be an abstract, then introduction, literature review, called state of art. So previous research, then your problem formulation. This is the same for everywhere, every person is the same. Then models, methods or results, conclusion. Then references. Then acknowledgements. Who has supported, funded the project, or while doing this research, whether we had any collaboration with others. We'll be discussing, right? We have discussed with our friends, colleagues, or at a higher level institute, we have discussed with the faculty. So this, we cannot include them as authors. While doing this, I had doubt. I'll discuss with somebody. But I cannot include everyone in the authors list. So I acknowledge that. His contribution I'll acknowledge. So this is structure. Where do you start? You know the structure. This many things should be there in your. Which one do you write first? Previous research. Then you can differ. You have every right to differ. Right. Others? എല്ലാവരും agree ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടോ? നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യങ്ങൾ കേട്ടല്ലോ. You have identified your gap, done your work, then you have decided whether to publish in a journal or a conference. What are the things to be included in that? Everything is done. You're about to start. Where do you start? Without answer, I will not proceed. And I will stop. This one answer is this one. What is that? Previous research. Fine. Okay. Then others. Your answer need not be right. It can be in exact opposite direction. It's fine. But I need an answer. Where do you start? Problem statement. Right. Then problem formulation. Right. പറഞ്ഞോ. Source of data. Okay, fine. It comes in that. Methodology of research. Abstract. Okay, തുടങ്ങുന്ന എവിടാന്ന് പ്രശ്നമുണ്ട്. Fine. Which one will be the last section to write? Abstract, then conclusion, introduction. പറഞ്ഞോ. Future, it comes in conclusion and future scope, right, fine. The first should be your problem formulation. While writing, you are probably formulated after doing research. You have done research and others. I'm sorry, your literature review, all these things you have done only the problem formulation. But while writing, you should write this the first. Why? You have done. After doing this only, you are writing. Because in this paper, your contribution is in this area. And who knows about this? I have done a work. It is my work. Who knows that? Me alone. Till I publish, no one knows that. And who knows it best? Me. Right? And in this paper, we have different sections in the paper. And which one is known to me more? Problem formulation, because I have done a lot of time in that. Right? I have refined it. Many times I have refined it. And I have only formulated the problem because I only know that. No one else know. നമ്മളെപ്പോഴും ചെയ്യുന്നത് എങ്ങനെയാണ്? നമുക്ക് ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ അറിയുന്നത്. പരീക്ഷ എഴുതുന്നത് എങ്ങനെയാണ് നിങ്ങൾ? ഓക്കെ, ഫസ്റ്റ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ അറിയത്തില്ല, ബട്ട് വിൽ റൈറ്റ്. അങ്ങനെയാണോ ചെയ്യുന്നത്? നമ്മൾ എന്താ ചെയ്യുന്നത്? അറിയാവുന്നത് ചെയ്യും. സോ ഇൻ എ പേപ്പർ, വിച്ച് പാർട്ട് ഇസ് നോൺ ടു യു? എല്ലാം അറിയാം, ബട്ട് വിച്ച് ഇസ് നോൺ ടു യു മോർ ഓർ ബെസ്റ്റ്? ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് എ പ്രോബ്ലം ഫോർമുലേഷൻ. സോ ഐ വിൽ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ഫ്രം ദെയർ. I'll write that first. അത് ആർക്ക് മാത്രമേ എഴുതാൻ പറ്റൂ? എനിക്ക് മാത്രമേ പറ്റൂ. ഞാൻ മാത്രമല്ലേ ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളൂ, വേറെ ആരും ചെയ്തിട്ട്. സോ ഐ എം ദ ഓൺലി പേഴ്സൺ ഹു നോസ്. സോ ഐ വിൽ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ഫ്രം there. What should be next? What is next? See, you guess and see my answers. Then what you should do? Why there is a difference between my answer and your answer? Correct it. That's how we learn. Right? So what is next? I have formulated the problem. Now it is ready. How to address it, how to solve it? I'll decide methods or I'll develop models. Seriously. Why I do that? I know the problem and how can I do it at the best way? So I'll do this. So these two should be the first things to be written in an article. Then, what is next? See that logical, this one. Problem formulation is ready, your model or methods are ready, then comes results. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ ലോജിക്കലായിട്ടാണ് ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത്, ശ്രദ്ധിച്ചോ? There's a logic. Then comes results. What is next? What should be next? Why? You try to connect this. You try to link why it should be after this. Don't I? What you will present in your introduction and literature review? A reader, when he gets a paper, first will be your abstract, then comes introduction. So, how do you read a paper? How do you read a paper? I'll give you a paper now. How do you read? Abstract. Then conclusion. Okay, fine. Then abstract will give you an abstract. Conclusion is conclusion. Fine. You are interested in that. Then fine. If you are a reviewer, suppose you are a reviewer, you are getting a paper to review. Where do you start? You will read abstract because it is the shortest portion. You will read abstract. Then result. See, we have to prove that where we have started, when I am selecting a problem, that should have relevance and it should advance the present state of the technology. Otherwise, that problem has no significance, no relevance. Where do you prove that what you are going to do is relevant? Your introduction and literature review. Right? You are doing literature review. You give an introduction about the topic and what are things have happened there and what all advancements have happened from the first onwards or from somewhere you have started. You will write there. And how do you end that section? In all literature, so many things I have said, but these points are not addressed. Though they have addressed these points, they have taken some assumptions which are not realistic. That's how we conclude, right? So there are gaps. And we cannot address all gaps. So we are trying to address gaps 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how we write. Right? Now I have my results with me. My abstract should be in line with the results. What I am going to present in my result, that results, what is given in the introduction, I'll end the introduction or a literature review stating the gaps, and this is what I am going to do, and these are the gaps I am going to address, and in a result you have to prove that I have addressed those things. Right? So after result only I will write my abstract. It should be in line with my result. Clear on? So we will not write the introduction first because we have already done the work. Now we have to align every other thing in line with this. So then we'll write the conclusion. What you will include in conclusion? Findings. Okay. Then findings, future scope. You have a very small, few lines you can write in a conclusion in a paper, right? You don't get even a half a page. Then what are things you will include there? Okay, we'll discuss that. Then abstract is the last one. Why? Abstract should be the last one. Because abstract is the abstract of the whole paper. Once your paper is not complete, then how can you write the abstract? Got my point? So, abstract is the last point you will write. So what are things we are giving in that? How do you write an abstract? How many words a standard journal permit you to write an abstract? Maximum 300. 250 to 300 words. In 300 words, you have to tell the importance of problem you are addressing, right? Your methods used, results, and its inference. Right? So you have to include all these things in 300 words. So once you complete the paper, then you will know what are things to be included and what are the things to be omitted. നമ്മൾ അബ്സ്ട്രാക്ട് വായിക്കാറില്ലേ പലരും അബ്സ്ട്രാക്റ്റിൽ എന്താ എഴുതുന്നത് ലൈക്ക് ഇൻട്രഡക്ഷൻ ദേ വിൽ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് യു ഡോണ്ട് ഹാവ് ടു ഡു ലൈക്ക് ദാറ്റ് യു ക്യാൻ ഡയറക്ട്ലി ഗോ ടു യുവർ പ്രോബ്ലം ദിസ് വാട്ട് സം കണ്ടില്ലേ ചില പേപ്പറുകളിൽ they'll directly tell that we are addressing these are the issues in this field and we are going to address this using these methods. Then we have tested or we have applied this method on a test system or we have done experimental studies and the results are shown. Then about the result we will write. So abstract is the last portion to be written in an article. Then references and acknowledgements. ടൈറ്റിൽ പേരിടുന്ന പോലെയാണ്. ഇങ്ങനെയാണ് മക്കൾക്ക് എല്ലാവരും ഫാമിലിയായിട്ടൊക്കെ താമസിക്കും. മക്കൾക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ പേരിടുന്നത് അട്രാക്റ്റീവ് ആണോ? ഹൗ ഡു റൈറ്റ് എ ടൈറ്റിൽ? What are the points to be considered? I have published a paper. Then what I will be looking for? How many citations my paper has. നോക്കത്തില്ലേ? ലോകത്തിലുള്ള എല്ലാ മനുഷ്യരും അതുപോലെ തന്നെയാണ്. So I'll check how many citations I have. What is my citation index? So how to get citations? Somebody should read your paper and they should refer. Right? If they want to read the paper, how do they get the paper? They'll search. How do you search? Keywords. Done. So if you are searching using keywords, then your title also should have keywords. Then only this will appear in the search. Right? That's how you have to make a title. It should be concise. Use keywords in title. From where do you get these keywords? Your area. You know the keywords in your area. And some journals, they have a list of keywords. You can select from that. Then you have to make the title accordingly. Index terms. Index terms are, again, you can say keywords kind of things. Their content will be reflected there. Because how do you search? The same way only others also will search. So what are the possible keywords they may search for getting an article? And if those keywords are there in your article, then you should use them as the index word so that it will appear in more searches. If it appears in a search, then only people will start reading it. If they read and if they find that this is good, then they will get citations. You have to do that. Please provide by the journal. All journals will have a taxonomy. I triple in the you don't have. How to develop this manuscript? So abstract. It is the last section. Condensed version of our entire article. Key points. Very essential because we have limited words allowed. So the very essential keywords, methods, results and conclusion. Everything should be there in your abstract. So writing abstract is very, very difficult. Writing a good abstract is very difficult. Because what you said to me, when you are getting a paper, what you read first? Abstract. That abstract should be interesting. The reader should feel that there is something in your paper. So to make that feel, you have to write abstract. So, we effort effort while writing the abstract. You can write an abstract, but it should look nice also. Then only the others will start reading it. And this is very important. You should make others feel that the work given in the paper is relevant and is important. And you will to make that feel. And abstract will be written in the. Have you ever thought of which tense, abstract, introduction, all those things? How do you write? Abstract is the abstract of what we have done. We have done. So this should be in the introduction. How do you write introduction? Can you tell me? Abstract same line you can think. Why? Why should you read this article? Or what is the importance of my research work? In abstract, you have given very few words. And now here you are going to elaborate it. Which I am presenting here is very important. It is relevant. So you should use generalized things. Already abstract paper introduction first two paragraphs will be general items. So what is known to the public, please write. And there should be continuity. And for that, what is essential? Only that much should be included in the introduction. They won't find it interesting. What has been done before? Your literature review. Then, how it is bringing new findings, new knowledge to your area. So that is important. Maximum 2 pages. There is a tense in which tense? Present tense. So introduction is written in present tense. State of the art or literature review. It's needed. And include only the most relevant, because if you start writing everything, that consumes space. You cannot include that. Again, at your introduction literature review plus your reference part also, this reference should be included there. So what is most relevant? And there are unethical things in this area also. We will discuss that. And what we are trying here is, many people have worked in that area. So how they are related to our present work, or how that area has evolved or developed, and what are the gaps in that. What are the limitations and assumptions? People have done research and they have excellent results, but these results may be because of the assumptions they made. Many times these assumptions may not be realistic. we will try to make it more realistic. നമ്മളെപ്പോഴും ക്ലാസ്സിൽ പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്ന അങ്ങനെയല്ലേ? When you are modeling, how do you model? You will make a simple model. Then you will go on adding one by one. Finally, it becomes a complex model. You might have worked in the area. You can refer your own papers. It's fine. So you have done work and you have published in a conference. And from the conference, you have progressed further. And now you are submitting a journal paper. So you can state clearly. Then, objective of the article should be very clear. In this article, what we are going to present. And what are the results we have obtained? So objective is clear. Now, what should be the next part? Abstract I have written, introduction, literature review, right? I gave a general background, I have done literature review, identified gaps, now I have done objectives, right? Objectives and results I have said. Now I will tell about how I have organized this paper. Organization of the article. So what is given where? In section 2, we will be discussing the methodology or hypothesis, whatever it is. Then results will be given there, conclusion, all those things. Problem formulation is the, then comes, what is the next stage? Problem formulation. What is the structure of an article? Abstract, introduction, literature review, then your methods and models, problem formulation. So this is problem formulation. And this is the first part of the article to be written. Objectively. And here, it is ethical to provide all details. Don't hide anything. How did we arrive at that? Or what are the methods we have used? What data we have used? Everything should be made clear so that a person reading it, if you want to reproduce the results, he should be able to do that. Detailed description of the problem. All terminologies. Everything should be clearly defined. There should not be any ambiguity. All equations. How we are arriving at a solution. What are the steps involved in that? What are the ways we have crossed? Everything should be clear. So that, suppose you are asking me how to reach Kadakotam. So I should be knowing how to reach Kadakotam. When I am describing to somebody, it should not be ambiguous. It should be very clear. How can you reach Kadakotam? The best way. Same thing. You have some results. If somebody else want to reproduce the results, they'll check that. Because while doing that, really they will understand what are the points you have forgotten, or what are the assumptions you have made. And because of these assumptions, what are the mistakes you have done in your final results. Then only they will get a new area. Based on that, only they will doing research in some other area. So we should give a chance for them to do that. Then all materials, methods, what all things we have used, it should be disclosed to replicate your work. If you have taken data, what is the source of data? If you have taken from internet, when I have taken, it should be clear. It is retrieved on 8th February 2024. Means that day it was available. Somebody else will be checking after 1 year. And we are not responsible for that. But when I was retrieving that, it was there. So we should specify even dates when I have received the data. Everything should be clear in that. Then results. Our results should be better than what is available. Then only they'll publish it. If you are the editor of a journal, suppose you are the editor, you are getting a paper, what you will look first? Where you will look first? നിങ്ങളൊരു കടയിൽ സാധനം മേടിക്കാൻ പോകും, ഒരു പുതിയ സൂപ്പർ മാർക്കറ്റിൽ സാധനം മേടിക്കാൻ പോകും. എന്തടിസ്ഥാനത്തിലാണ് സാധനം മേടിക്കുന്നത്? വീടിനടുത്തൊരു കടയിൽ സാധനം കിട്ടും. ബെറ്റർ ആണോ നോക്കും. ബെറ്റർ ഇൻ മെനി ആസ്പെക്ട്സ്. കോസ്റ്റ്, ക്വാളിറ്റി, എനിക്കിപ്പോൾ വണ്ടി പാർക്ക് ചെയ്ത് മേടിക്കാൻ പറ്റുമോ? സോ ഇൻ മെനി ആസ്പെക്ട്സ് വിൽ സി വെദർ ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് ബെറ്റർ ദാൻ ദ എക്സിസ്റ്റിംഗ് വൺ, റൈറ്റ്? അതിൻ്റെ അടിസ്ഥാനത്തിൽ നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഇഫ് യു ആർ എഡിറ്റർ ഓഫ് എ ജേർണൽ, you will apply the same logic there also. I am presenting some results. Whether these results are better than the existing one or not. The results are not existing better, then I will not go to the other part because it's of no use. Whatever be your method, if it is a new one or not, depending on the result. If results are good, results are better than the present one, then I'll accept it. Otherwise, what is the point in accepting? So, while presenting also, you have to see this, because we are writing a journal or article, it is to get accepted. If it is an analytical work, mathematical work, in that case, you have to specify full results, measurements. If it is an experimental result, show the full measurements, observations you have done, and based on these observations, what are your calculations and what is the final results. Clear and concise. And why do we use figures and tables? Why to use figures and tables? Given a choice, figure or table, which you prefer? Why? So you have some data to present, right? You have a choice. You can use figures to present the data, or you can use table to present the data. Which one you prefer? That is my question. Figures and tables. Why? Depends on which one gives you more impact, which one makes you better understand the thing. So like that, you will select. Then, in your result part, you have to interpret the results. Results are good, but finally, interpretation is very important, because that makes sense whether these results are useful or not, and why I am getting these results like this. What advantage in my method or in the process I have used help me to arrive at a better result. So that's given in the interpretation of the result. Then, this is very important, acknowledge any limitations of the study. I have some results, and we will never be able to model a system to this perfection. Never. It is never possible. So what all assumptions we have made? It should be made clear. And conclusions should be clear conclusions. This is my conclusion. അവിടെ ambiguity പാടില്ല. പിന്നെ conclusion section will remind the key points, summary of the main findings, then important conclusions. Conclusion section is again, it's a conclusion of the whole article. So, if a person reads the conclusion, he should get an idea about what is given in that paper. So that's why we are doing like this. We'll remind the key points in each section. Then summary of the main findings. That is very important. And conclusions. Conclusions from the findings. Then implications of the findings. This will help the reader to understand how important your work is. Then you have to discuss the benefits and shortcomings. What are the issues you have faced while solving this? You might have selected an approach, and what were the difficulties in that? And that is why you have changed the route. So all these things can be. Then suggest future areas for research. In this future area, while suggesting, you have to list out the assumptions you have made. All assumptions on non-realistic assumptions. Nothing can be ideal. There is no ideal. So non-idealities in your research that you can make. Or what are the difficulties you have faced while solving a problem. So that will open up a new area for others to do research. That is very important because then only your paper will get citations. Then illustrations, tables, figures and graphs. Why do we use this? And in a paper, if you look at a paper, if you see a paper, and this research section only, you will have tables and figures. And all should be self-explanatory. What do you mean by self-explanatory? I am presenting a table. So each column, what is given? Say, force, what is the unit of force? Everything should be clear in that. Velocity or speed in kilometer per hour. So what are things you present? Everything should be there in at your table. Table titles and graphic captions. And where table is suitable. Table is suitable for presenting repetitive data or to see exact values. Suppose at 30 degrees centigrade, what has happened? What was the result? If you want to exactly look at that value, then you have to present it in a tabular form. In a graph, it's not possible for them to. So that there we decide actually whether to go for a graph or a tabular form. What is a graph actually? It shows the relationship. So you can show when I'm increasing this, that side it is decreasing. It will show the relation. And while drawing graphs, if you are using any softwares, in your software the graph looks good. But when you put it in your paper, the lines will be very fade. And others, those who are reading it, they'll find. When you are using color printouts, your graphs will be color graphs. If you are reading a PDF, online PDF, or in your system, it is okay, it will give you all colors. But if a person is taking a printout to read, they will not take color printout. They will take only black and white printout. At that time, how will it look? That we have to see. Asha, this one. Think about how illustration will look, black and white or in grayscale. Because many will take black and white printout to read. This means whether it's a single column format, double column format. So if you are presenting a long table, a large table with wide table, you can use, if it is a 2-column format journal, you can use wide column. 2 columns you can cover it. Don't try to shrink the table. You can shrink it and fit it. Tech while doing the afternoon session learning. In tech you can shrink it. To any level you can shrink it. But readability will be lost. Please don't do that. References. Cite only references that directly support your work. Your friend or your colleague, please don't cite their reference just to increase the citations. If it is relevant, then only you should cite it. And all material should be peer-reviewed material. Thesis, who will evaluate a thesis? Reviewers. A thesis will go to maximum 3 or 4 people. And who will see the comments of that? Only the person who has done that. he may or may not correct it. So we cannot rely on that. Abstracts and dissertations. What is the difference between thesis and dissertation? Asha, how do you find answers to these questions? I have asked some questions. How do you find answers? I have asked question and I didn't say answer. Find answer? When I have doubt, I have a mobile phone. It's net connected. I'll open and search. Difference between thesis and dissertation. Done. That's how we'll find answers to all questions. But don't take it as such. Put a filter and take the answers. You find the answer. Asha, this is very, very important. If you have a reference, if you are including one paper in your reference, that should be cited in your text. If you are using a material, that should be definitely included in your reference. Should be. Points to remember. Write in paragraphs. Asha, this is very important. While writing a paper, have you seen papers? How do they write? We won't prefer to read long paragraphs. നിങ്ങൾ വായിക്കൂ ആരും വായിക്കുന്നില്ല നിങ്ങൾ വായിക്കത്തില്ല ബാക്കിയുള്ളവർ എന്തിനാ വായിക്കുന്നത് we never prefer to read long paragraphs. So what should we do? Should we mix? So write in paragraphs, not long blocks of text. Vary the length of your paragraphs. What are things you have to tell? Directly tell. Simple sentences. Don't have to use jargons and avoid passive voice. Passive voice is good. In some language, passive voice would be better. See, Urdu, passive voice is very nice. In English, active voice would be best. Write in first person, I or we. We'll wind up in 5 minutes. 5 more minutes. Ethical standards. I shall skip those things. Plagiarism. Plagiarism, you have to be very careful about plagiarism. Even citing our own work, copying from our own work, that is considered as plagiarism, self-plagiarism. Please don't do that. Any material, if you are taking a figure, a photograph from internet, the source should be cited. That is very, very important. Submission frauds. At a time, you should submit only one journal. Wait for the result. It will take 1 year. So what do you have to do? Select a journal which gives you. In less time, they will give you the first review. Some journals, what they do, the editor will go through that. He will go through the result. If you are the editor, he will go through the result. Recently, not recently, yesterday evening we received a rejection mail from one of the journals. Said that results are not done, rejected. We have submitted 3 days back. Yesterday evening we got the result. So the editor itself will do. He himself will do a first review and they'll just reject it. So submit to those kind of journals. Submitting to multiple journals at a time is considered as a fraud in this one. And what happens is, if it happens that one article, it goes to the same reviewer from 2 different journals, definitely he will report that. Then they will blacklist you. Journalists will blacklist others. Search it, you will get that. List of blacklisted authors. You publish a paper. Again, a part of that, he will publish with a different title. So that is fraud. Excessive citing of on publications. It is again a fraud. Authorship. Who is an author? Who is an author? Who has actually contributed. Many might have helped you in discussion, but they cannot be considered as an author. Then if you have co-authors, then they also should be aware of your content. That is why when you submit to a journal, they'll ask for other details, your co-author details. Once you submit, automatically your co-authors will get a mail. Do you know that? Yes. So and so have submitted a paper and you are included as one of the authors in that. If not, please respond. There will be a mail. Who is ghost author? What is ghost? Fine. What is ghost? Ghost എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താണ്? Ghost എന്ന് കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ നിങ്ങൾ? So, who is a ghost author? നിങ്ങൾ എന്താണ് ഇങ്ങനെ ചിന്തിക്കാത്തത്? എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നില്ല. Ghost അറിയാം. Who should be a ghost author? He is not seen in the paper. Then what is his role? I might have given money. Somebody else have written for me. There are professional people, professionals who will write for you. Right? Their name will not be listed. They are ghost authors. Who is a guest author? Who is a guest author? Ghost author is professional writers who were paid for writing the authors. Gift authorship means? To whom? Gift എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നിങ്ങളുടെ ഒരു ഫ്രണ്ട്. You will include his name. See, you want to get career advancement. His placement is due. He needs one more paper. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സ്നേഹം തോന്നി, you will include his name. That is fraud. Don't do that. Guest authorship. Your HOD is very influential. If his name is there in the paper, you will get accepted. He is also very generous. So you include my name. His number of papers will increase, you will get a publication. Their contribution is not there, so please don't include them. Fine. Conflicts of interest. Fine. So if you have any queries, you can ask me. We have started a little late, so I had to rush through many of this. You can ask me questions. Actually, letters means, see, I'm doing research and I have an interim result. But I don't have that much content to write it into 4 pages or 6 pages. Minimum 6 pages are required for a conference or minimum number of pages are specified for journals. But I want to publish it. They're short communications. So, but my research is relevant. It's a solid output, solid result I have. So I can submit it. They'll publish it as letters. They'll do that. But you don't have an elaborated article to write. You cannot apply on some method, some test system, results, all those things are not there. Letters, they'll publish it as letters. Earlier even journals used to publish the review comments, discussions, everything they used to publish. Anything else? നമ്മൾക്ക് ലെറ്റർ ജേർണൽ റൈറ്റിംഗ് പ്രാക്ടീസ് ഇല്ലേ അവർക്ക് ആഫ്റ്റർനൂൺ ഫൈൻ I'll answer this. See, what is the advantage of using LaTeX? Things are made very simple. Very, very simple. Suppose I have submitted to a journal. That journal formatting is entirely different. They have rejected it. So yesterday they have rejected our paper. So what we will do? We will submit to another journal because we have to submit and get published. It's our work. Almost 1 year, one of my research scholars has worked in that area and we know that that is relevant. It will be published. So what we do? We will submit to another journal. So they have a journal style. The template is available. So just I have to change the preamble of that template. Done. Rest it will take care. What is your question? Asha, how do you submit it? Asha, if you open the link, submission link, you have to enter the other details. And if you have ORCID ID, you know, so they'll take it from there. ORCID, ORCID, whatever people say. Fine. Otherwise, you have to enter your details. Then you have to specify the co-author details. And in which order you have to give this co-author details, they'll ask you. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have given that. Then they'll ask you to give your title of the paper. Then you have to enter the abstract. If you have a paper ready, you can just copy paste it. Then some of the journals, they'll ask you to give a single PDF. You have to worry about nothing. Just give a single PDF, you'll go for peer review. And once it is accepted, then they will ask you for an editable material. Why editable material is required? Because journal style will be different. Journal fonts, you see, journal fonts are different. How do they present tables, figures, everything will be different. So they have editors there. Right? They have typesetting people are there, so they will do that. For them, they will ask you for the editable version of that. In some journals, what they will ask you is you have to enter your abstract, then the content, your text matter you have to enter, tables, figures you have to enter separate. And while doing tech, the advantage is you have to specify the path where your table is, where your figure is. Then you can do it separately. Why they are asking is, see, this tables and figures, when they are typesetting it, they will see that minimum space is occupied. So they'll align it. They'll placement, to make them easy, they need this tables, figures, they are known as floating objects. Instead of embedding in your text, if you give them as separate, for them it will be easy to edit it. So that's why they do that. Anything else? Thank you. Okay then, thank you very much. Beamer, let's see. Fine, okay, we'll do that. Text studio, text member, anything you can. Class on class will do. Templates available. The template selecting, template there. Beamer template there, netlist search here. Then the templates, either color or either form, full details available. You can take it from all the line. Any audit type is started. Technical. Animations നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യാറില്ല. ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ ചെയ്തു. പോയിന്റ്സ് അത് 1.1 ടെക്കാണോ?
ടെക്കല്ല സർ.
ഇല്ലല്ലേ.
ടെക്കുണ്ട്.
അത് വേണ്ട, ഇനി സമയമില്ല, അത് ആള് വന്നു.
Thank you, sir, for that session. And now I invite Ms. Hira Kumar ma'am to give a token of love.